Whoa. Whoa, that sounds good. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, me reviewing a Genesis G90 Ultimate with the 5.0 V8. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Genesis of Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this G90. Check out the inventory in the description down below. This one is available for sale if you're interested, by the way. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into the video. Something else to mention is that Genesis of Linden is actually giving away a $500 Visa gift card to everyone that purchases a sedan through Memorial Weekend to the end of the month. And so yeah, if you're looking to buy a Genesis, now is the best time. Now let's get into the review. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower at 6,000 RPMs and then 383 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 RPMs. Now let's go with the front end of the G90. So first off, you got the Genesis logo front and center. Look at the little intricate details with the logo itself. And then notice these two prominent body lines that kind of go into the logo, which is pretty cool. And then here off to the side of the hood. And overall, the hood just looks fantastic. Coming down to the lights, this is another element that I think looks absolutely fantastic with the G90. You guys can see with the daytime running lights. And then notice here with the parking sensors integrated into the front end. And then you also have the sensor that, notice how it like matches the grille, so it's kind of hidden. Got a camera just up above that, and then notice all the chrome trim. And overall, this has like a distinctive, elegant look from a front end perspective. Coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front, and then two 75mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the rear. And the wheels look fantastic. Has that cool luxury car appearance. I know some people might be a little bit weirded out by the wheel design, but it just works with this particular car. And then you've got a little turn signal indicator there on the side of the car, which is pretty cool. Chrome trim all along the bottom, and then also around the windows as well. And then also the chrome trim there on the top of the door handles. And now that you can see the whole car, right? And especially in motion, that's where these wheels really look great, is when the car's moving. Now here's our key fob. We have our lock function, unlock, and then the opening here for the trunk. So we'll press that and pop it open. And it's got the Genesis logo there on the back. And then popping to the interior, you can see we've got our premium first aid kit. We have the Genesis logo here on the carpeting. And then if we pull this open, you can see the storage space underneath. And yeah, this is massive from a storage space perspective. It is a very large sedan. And then notice the trim piece right here. And of course, we got a button to lower down the trunk because, well, we're living the life of luxury today. Now, finishing things up with the rear of the G90. Notice we've got the Genesis logo there in the center. We've got our G90 badge. We've got our 4-wheel drive, and then we've got our 5.0 badge right there. So you can flex on everyone that you have the 5.0 V8. Parking sensors there at the bottom. And then notice the covers for the exhaust tips. And I love the style of the taillights too, how it's all connected. It looks great. And let me actually pop over here to the other side because the lighting's kind of bad from that side. The lighting's kind of bad from both sides. But you guys can pretty much see the rear of the car. Now here's the door panel in the rear of the G90. Look at the beautiful leather trim, then the wood trim down below that, and then notice the metallic trim goes right into it. And just the texture on the wood trim is fantastic. And then more leather all over the rest of the door panel. Yes, we've got memory seats here in the back. We also have sunshades as well. And then here are the seats. Look at these seats. So you can see the quilted design here in the center. It's all perforated. Got really nice piping as well. Genesis logo. And look at that! Vacuum lines. Sorry that I'm about to run them. Anyways, you can see here with the legroom. It's a very comfortable place to be, actually. And then notice the storage space right there. Obviously, the passenger side is the place to be because you can move this seat here from the rear, which is hilarious. We have the TV screens here in the back as well, which is another cool feature. But yeah, just look at the overall, like, just feel the seat. And then notice, center console. Got the charging ports inside of it. And really nice leather trim here on the top. And then look at the wood trim on the side. And then you can see here with the seat adjustments here on the side. Just crazy that it has all this. And then you can see here we've got the controls here for, well, like the radio and all that kind of stuff, which is great. More importantly, we've got our climate controls, heated, cooled seats here for the rear, and notice we got the sunshade button as well. There's just so many luxury features here in the back, which is just crazy to me. And of course we got the vents there in the center. And last but not least, we got more 12 volts right there. And well, let's head to the front. So here is the front door panel. You can see again with the leather trim and then the wood trim down below, and then more leather here in this area. And then notice here all of the window controls. And then you can see here with the mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in. They also have blind spot monitoring. And then another speaker for the Lexicon sound system. And I love the styling on it. And then here's the front seat. It's just as nice as what you have in the rear. And then notice again, perforated, really nice with the bolstering. You got your adjustments there on the side of the seat. Genesis plaque. Pedal layout down below, pretty normal setup with that. And that's for the trunk, gas cap, parking brake. And then you can see here for the blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, stability control, steering wheel is power adjustable, and then notice the wood trim here and then the leather on the dash. Let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel for the G90. Beautiful leather trim all around, and you can see the metallic ring right there. And we've got practical controls like your volume controls, voice command controls. It does have adaptive cruise control, paddle shifters here on the back for the 8-speed automatic. We have our turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and well, there's all for the steering wheel. Now here is the gauge cluster. You guys can see that it's like half digital, half analog. You've got some different screens you can scroll through there in the center portion to see different bits of info on like the vehicle, for example. Pretty straightforward, but we do have some different drive modes we can go into. So notice we've got our comfort, sport, which actually tightens the bolsters, eco, and then custom as well. And that's one of the things that is really cool is the bolsters actually tighten because there's so much adjustment on the seats. Now here's the infotainment screen. First off, if we pop it in reverse, you guys can see we've got a backup camera with your drivetrain lines that turn with the steering wheel. And then notice we've got the different camera viewpoints that you can go through. So from a camera perspective, it is completely covered. And there's a little camera button that you can press on and off for the viewpoint. Anyways, it is a touchscreen. There is also a dial you can use. The touchscreen is very responsive, but I found that the dial sometimes is easier to use in certain circumstances. But overall, great infotainment system. And there's a bunch of shortcut buttons that are analog buttons you guys will see in a moment that just make the whole system really easy to use. And I like how it's integrated into the dash, where like you have the dash here at the top and you have like the wood trim here on the side, and then you just have the infotainment screen kind of like hidden in there in a sense. It looks really cool. We've got our cool Genesis clock right here, and then you can see all the controls for like the navigation, shortcut, radio controls, all that. And then we've got our dual zone climate controls down below. Got our camera view button here, parking sensors, auto hold, drive mode select. We got the shifter for that 8-speed automatic. And then notice this will elegantly open. And then we've got our wireless phone charger inside of there, USBs, all that. And then just notice the material use on like all of the controls and everything is just fantastic all throughout. And then this is that analog control for the infotainment system, and then the shortcut buttons right there. And then you can see here for the sunshades, and then our heated cooled seats, heated steering wheel for the front, a couple cup holders, but notice you can cover that up so that you just have that nice wood trim appearance. Got that button right there in the front for the center console with some 12 volts. There's a bunch of charging ports in the interior of this. And then notice even down here, there's some nice like leather padding, and yeah, just really nice. Glove box setup, pretty normal. And then, yeah, just look how everything kind of flows together from a material standpoint. I really like that as well. Now here is the sunroof. So you can see just a regular sunroof, really nice headliner. And notice even the grab handles have stitching on the front of them. That is awesome. And then again with the sun visors, pretty normal setup here at the top. And I don't know, I like it. I like the look of this so far. Oh, and there's mirrors in the back. I didn't even realize that earlier. Wow. Yep, so the back passengers can look at themselves if they want. Now here's a window sticker for the G90 Ultimate. Now, you guys will notice that everything we just went over is standard equipment with this. And then warranty information, we've got our 5-year 60,000 on, it's kind of like your basic warranty, your bumper to bumper is what a lot of people call it. 10-year 100,000 mile on the powertrain. And then notice your anti-perforation warranty as well. And then you can see the only feature added is the gray color on this one. But total MSRP, $82,870. And that is awesome that, they're not going to nickel and dime you for a bunch of options. They're just like, you know what? Everything's standard. Let's drive it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, and you guys can hopefully now see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. Setting off in the G90. This is such a special car, and we'll kind of get into that. So first off, seat comfort is absolutely amazing with the G90. It's just, the bolstering's amazing. It's so plush, and these seats are seats that you could sit in for just hundreds of miles at a time, and you will be so comfortable with them. And aside from that, the cabin's really well insulated too. Like, that car just drove by, and here's another one, and you can't really hear it, which is so cool, right? It just really takes you out, which is what you want with a luxury vehicle like this. You want it to kind of insulate you from the world so that you can just think about more important things. But aside from that, despite the 5.0 producing most of its power and torque at high RPMs, it's really good at low end. Yeah, it's solid. Handling's actually solid with this too. That's pretty interesting. And we'll actually pop it into the sport mode, so the bolsters will tighten around me, just like what the Mercedes S-Class does. I'm gonna kind of go into manual mode here, see how the 8-speed responds. Whoa! Whoa! That sounds good! And that is punchy, actually. It's a lot punchier than I expected. Again, it's naturally aspirated, and you guys heard the figures. I didn't think it was gonna be that quick. That's fun. It sounds great. That is a great sounding engine. Ride quality is also fantastic with the G90. Going over the bumps and everything, just the whole platform, they did a really good job just making this a very comfortable car. It's so punchy off the line too. Wow. Gonna kind of just punch it a little bit here. I love that V8. It sounds so good. I'll just pop it back into comfort mode. I imagine that most people purchasing this are just gonna have it in comfort mode like 99% of the time. But let's sum things up with the G90, and obviously everyone compares this to the Mercedes S-Class because that's like, you know, the car that kind of created this segment, and so let's do it. And if you guys are wondering, I had an S-Class for a week. Mercedes gave me one to test out for a week, so I can make some pretty solid comparisons. So first off, exterior aesthetics on this are amazing. Genesis's new styling is just fantastic. This just has so much road presence, and in my personal opinion, this has more road presence than an S-Class. Like, this just looks so unique. An S-Class, it has the hood ornament, right? It does look fancy. I'm not gonna say it doesn't look fancy, but it doesn't, like, this like just looks so cool. Like, when you see one of these, it really pops out, whereas the S-Class is like, oh, it's another Mercedes, right? And then from an interior perspective, this is a very nice interior, especially considering the price point that this is at. This is just absolutely amazing. And then ride quality, I mean, just going over bumps, like, it just soaks up everything so well. And you can see turn signal camera. It's another nice safety feature. Just like the S-Class, it just wafts over everything, and it's so comfortable. Like, you really don't feel things in the suspension with this like you would in a regular car. Again, full-blown luxury car. Seat comfort's great, just like the S-Class. And, you know, it's not as quick as the S-Class. The S-Class, right, has that turbocharged V8, but I don't feel like speed really matters in this segment, because when I drive this car and when I drove the S-Class for a week, I pretty much almost never went full throttle. And this has a lot of, this actually has decent low-end torque. You're just gonna be partial on the throttle. This has more than enough power. The S-Class, right, it does have more power, but, like, again, not really gonna use it. And then, you know, from a value perspective, this is where it really should hit home with a lot of you. This is, you know, just over $80,000. The S-Class I tested was over $130,000 for the sticker price. So, for the price of the S-Class, I could buy one of these, and I could pay someone for an entire year to chauffeur me. Probably, I don't know how much a chauffeur actually costs. I probably should have Googled that before I did this review, but I assume like $50,000 is more than enough money. I bet a chauffeur is even less than that. Like, here, like, I'm not in New York, okay? I'm here in Utah. I bet I could pay some, like, you know, 18-year-old kid like $25,000 a year, so I could have 2 years of being chauffeured around in the G90 for the price of the S-Class. I guess to really sum things up, Is the S-Class worth the extra $50,000 over this? I don't know, right? It does have, you know, some features that this car doesn't have, like massaging seats, for example. Unless I'm like, I mean, let me know if I'm wrong. I didn't see any button for it or anything in the infotainment system or on these controls. So there is that. And then it has like the modern, like full digital dash and everything, but they're going to redesign the G90 for the 23 model year. So it's going to have a full digital gauge cluster and everything. So I think that that point's not going to be relevant next year. But again, $50,000, I don't think so. That's my personal opinion. This is such a solid value. And on top of that, all these features here in the back, the S-Class that I had that was $130,000 didn't have any of those. That's another thing. This actually, so this has more features than the S-Class at a crazy, such a good value. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this G90. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Genesis of Linden for giving me some time with this G90. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.